Trump will decide not to go to the next election, so I think he will stand behind Vance, and Vance will work and be based on the same category and the same people who are supporting now Trump. So he will get the same popularity of Trump among their people. And I think the mega now, Make America Great Again, some kind popular in the street. Yes, there are now demonstrations, etc. But even the surveys shows that Trump maybe suffer from decline of his popularity, but not that much. It is about 2 to 3%. So it means that the same people who are behind him is still behind him, and I think they will also be behind Vance, particularly if they succeeded in the economic issues and really solve some critical problems and push forward the American economy.
Okay, Professor Al-Khatib, do you agree with Professor Al-Sheikh on, of course, the concept of it being a trend and the idea of that the United States is in debt for $36 trillion? And, of course, what are the key motivations behind Trump's renewed tariff threats against the EU?
I agree with Dr. Nourhan. There's the issue of China. There's the issue of the national debt, $36 trillion. And he keeps talking about that. The fact that China is the focus. The other issues are all minor compared to the
so, sir, sorry, I just want to confirm that you agree that China is the focus behind all that's taking place at this point.
Yes, it took a long time for the Europeans to see it that way. They saw China as an economic issue, not as a military and national security issue. Even with Russia, when the Germans became very dependent on energy from Russia, they didn't see that there is something called energy security and that Russia can apply pressure on them through the delivery of the gas and the shutting off the gas. So that's the problem with the Europeans, is that they thought that there's something called international law, that there's something called China becoming richer, will become more of a normal player in international politics, and that did not come out that way. Now, populism is the movement. I mean, he agrees with other politicians in the world who see the world the way Trump sees it. So I don't think that I agree with Dr. Nourhan. The natural heir to Trump is J.D. Vance. He's young.
You don't agree in what, sir? Come again, sorry?
That J.D. Vance will be he's the natural successor to Trump as his vice president.
You don't see this?
I see it, yes, that he is the natural nominee to succeed Trump.
Okay, so I got you wrong, sir. You agree, you don't disagree.
Yeah, I agree, yes.
You agree. And about the trend, sir?
Yeah, it's the trend. The American people, the idea of the border, the idea of trade, the idea of the Europeans not pulling their weight. These are not Trump inventions, as she said. He didn't invent that. There is a big opinion, big segment of Americans that think that way. And what Trump did is he vocalized it and he made it into a program, he put it on the agenda, and then he made everyone pay attention. Therefore, I don't think it's just going to go away with Trump. Gone from the scene, and there is a movement behind it.
Professor Al-Sheikh, what role did the recent Paris summit play in shaping Europe's response to the U.S.?
I think Europe is passing through critical times in Europe. Now, far right is going in more and more powerful within all countries, even those who are leading the EU, like France, like Germany. So that transitional and challenging period Europe passing through, I think didn't allow that much varieties and options for European countries. Particularly look to Germany. They are suffering, the economy of Germany suffering a lot, as well as many other European countries. So we are talking about hard time politically, hard time economically, and so Europe has limited, from my point of view, and Dr. Hussein may also say whether it is true or not.
Mr. Hussein, you're with us, and you can answer if you want to answer and interact with Professor El-Sheikh.
Yes, definitely. I mean, the Europeans have a transition period, they're going through it, and the U.S. is indispensable to them. They just can't decouple from the U.S. The U.S. is a huge market for them, they're a huge market for the U.S. The relationship is very deep. It's when you want to change things that the side that's comfortable with the way things are, with the status quo, will always complain about the change. And that's what's going on. So it's understandable that the European countries will be complaining because they had it good, and now Trump is changing it. But